Hey there, and welcome back to the Free Play Podcast. Once again, my name is Bubba, joined with Matt and Kate. And we're a part of Love Thy Nerd, three of the founders there, which is this really cool, nifty thing that exists to be the love of Jesus to nerds and nerd culture. And so, Kate, today on the Free Play Podcast, you want to flex just a little bit.
Well, yeah.
Hopefully.
Gonna flex.
And so, tell us about how we gonna get learned today.
Okay, well, today you're gonna get learned, and this idea was based off of a topic that was submitted by the one and only Frostbite IV. You might know him. You might love him.
Never heard of her.
I've heard of him before.
So, his topic basically is, what is your reason to play? That's me putting words in his mouth. He didn't write that. Here's what he did write. Are good games just not good enough anymore? Back in the day, games like Halo dropped with no updates, no season passes, and no planned DLCs. As long as gameplay was good, everyone was happy. These days, if games aren't getting constant updates, people get bored. Even if the game has great gameplay, like Halo Infinite, people need a reason to play these days. Cosmetics to unlock, weapons to grind for, or gear to earn, it seems like people don't play just to have fun these days. Which is sad.
He wrote all of that?
He wrote all that.
I don't believe that.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that impressive?
Wow.
I know.
Next question.
In today's segment called Get Learnt, I'm just going to keep saying that until the hype builds more and more and more for it and people want to learn stuff all day. What we're going to dig into is play motivations and why people have that desire to basically consume this type of media that they do and the games that they do. Because that's a big part of kind of what he brought up is what has happened. Why are games not good enough? Why do people get bored? What's their reason to play? And I can tell you from a brain perspective why this is, and then we'll dig into some of your guys' issues.
I don't have any issues.
Pass.
All right, we'll just pray about it. Okay. So what we're going to talk about today, this version of the play motivations model, is from this company called Quantic Foundry, who I'm like obsessed with them because I think they're so cool. Like, they've done research to understand why people play games and like what is rewarding to people. Why do they play the games they do? Why do I play Dragon Age and why do you play Destiny 2? What's the difference? What's, all that.
Oh, I can't wait.
If you want to take a free quiz that'll tell you more about your playstyle, you can do it there at quanticfoundry.com. And they used actual data and social science to kind of put all this stuff together. So it's not just someone's opinion that they invented to describe Matt Warmbier. It's like based off of 400K people. What are you typing? You're not listening to Getting Learned.
I am typing in the link that you just said so that people can go and do the thing.
My bad. So
at least I'm not going, I'm bored.
I never said I'm bored. I never said I'm bored. I was just asking just to make sure that you're going to do whatever. Okay, types of players. So it breaks down into a couple categories. So think about where you could fit in on some of these, right? Because every gamer technically falls into one of these or a combination. Is action, social, mastery, achievement, immersion, creativity. Right? Each of these has two subcategories, and you can kind of like combine them to describe people, and it will pretty much describe every gamer there is, tabletop and video, although the emphasis of this is on video games, but it can be applied. So looking at Luke's example that he brought up here of Halo and players kind of gravitating towards needing to grind for gear and weapons and things and stuff, maybe it's not that good games aren't good anymore, but kind of like he touched on, that people's motivations have changed over time. And as games have evolved and changed, then that's kind of like they've catered to each other in that sense. So, here's the interesting part, right? Who plays Halo?
We're not there yet. We're not at the interesting part. Okay.
It is interesting. All of it's interesting to me, but I'm trying to say what's interesting to you. So out of all the motivations that there are for playing games, this looks like the action social motivation. And tell me if this sounds like anybody that you know. The standout traits for this community are community, shared experience, competition, excitement, and destruction. These... Sorry, it's
I feel
just
like Kate
funny.
has somebody in mind.
And it's right in front of me on the screen. These players want to be excited by the game and by their interactions with other people. And what better way to achieve that than by allowing people to play together, earn weapons, gear, and cosmetics. So I put a little picture here if you want to see it. Sorry, people in chat can't see it. But it highlights to me what Luke is saying basically, or asking about and thinking out loud about, is why do people want this stuff now? Why can't they just accept that a good game is a good game and call it a day? And it's because people fall on this spectrum of action social in ways where they want excitement, they want competition, and they want community.
Yeah.
Right? So the other Halo was good. It was a great game, but it didn't kind of play off of these social ways of thinking to engage people the way that it does now, with the way everything has evolved and stuff. So I wanted to ask you guys, why do you play the things that you do? What do you get out of it? Like what keeps you coming back to some of this stuff? Tabletop and video games. You can say whatever you want.
For me, it's different with both of those, tabletops and video games. Like with video games, I'm typically a solo player. It's the time I play to decompress and relax, and after a full day of like chatting and talking and being on and like available, being able to go and just play a game and be disconnected for a while is appealing. I think that's kind of what brings you back. A story in a game, it's probably the same reason people read books. But if I'm playing tabletop games, like I want to be around people. It's very, very rare that I play a solo tabletop game, because that's not why I play those. Yeah.
Interesting.
Bubba?
I feel both seen and attacked by the things that Kate has said here today. And so, no, I mean, I get it. Like I play games because I'm a social gamer. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily like playing games by myself. Sometimes I will do it, but I'm not like going out of my way. And even we've talked about this before, even when we play single player games, the experience of sharing something with another person. Hey, I did this thing in this game that's a single player game that you could not have played with me if you wanted to, but I want to talk to you about it. Like it still engages in a social experience.
Okay.
At the same time, I do love a little paper doll action. I like to get all dressed up, like make my hair look good. Every character needs a beard if it can have it. I'm really like legit. I'm tilted about my Wii Sports, my Switch Sports rather. Keep calling it Wii Sports.
Wii Switch Sports.
It's fine.
My Switch Sports, because I cannot play against people online. I can't just go in and search for people to play with. And so I'm unable to accrue the currency that allows me to unlock the cosmetics. I'm mad about it.
You got no outfits.
Mad about it.
Bring your Switch here.
Oh, done. And so I don't know, like, why do I play games? What do I get out of it? I play games because they're fun. Like,
yeah.
Sometimes I play games because they're challenging. Like, fun has left the building and now we're into the realm of challenging. And I want to prove that I can do something. So when I was playing Returnal, that's kind of what it felt like. Was just, well, I'm going to bang my head against this door 9,000 times until it gives or I give. And because I did that, it made me a better gamer. And I've talked about that 1,000 times, but like, I know 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be playing games, whether it's video game or tabletop, because I want to engage in a shared experience with somebody. If I do not want to engage in a shared experience with somebody, I will not play a game. Like I cannot tell you how many times I went backpacking last weekend. Okay. We didn't have a show. I was backpacking. I brought 6 of those like little Michael's clamshell things that fit in our big clear cases.
Oh yeah.
I brought 6 of those that had games in there. Had people ask me twice, "Hey Bubba, did you bring games?" I sure did. They're ready whenever you guys are ready. And I never push it. Because we're exhausted. We've been hiking. We've been doing all sorts of stuff. The last thing I want to do is just sit down.
Force a game.
and have to just like make you do something.
Yeah.
Now I know people that do that, and anytime they do that, I will sit down and play a game with them. But as far as like me personally, like engaging in that, like initiating that, I'm probably not gonna. I always bring games almost everywhere I am, and I hardly ever play them with people.
Same.
Do you think that games have become like the emphasis and enjoyment of community through games has become way more important, and like the access to it is easier, and maybe that's why people want that kind of stuff, to where they can basically grind with other people. Like, you're always playing Destiny.
Yep.
Was there, I don't know. I'm like throwing random thoughts out there. About
I think
this.
that what's happened is we've kind of like elongated what you're buying. All right. So if I pay $60 for a game now, video game, right?
Captain Toad.
If I pay $60 for a game, I'm expecting that I'm basically buying the base game, and that you're going to release expansions or updated content or what have you. Okay. I'm expecting that. I might be willing to pay an extra $10, $15, $20 for these expansions, or in the case of like World of Warcraft and stuff like that, full price of the dang game to do it. But I think that like we're becoming more and more familiar with the games that we're playing and the worlds that we're in, and technology. This is again just video games. Technology is getting to a point where you can build Grand Theft Auto online and then just keep piecing onto that forever and ever and ever. And so when I get really aggravated is when companies like EA are like, hey, Matt, I bet you can't wait for NHL 23
28
so that they put a period at the end of your name, or like whatever. You know, it's like they're not enough, but they're still putting that carrot out there to move you forward. I think that like if it's season passes are a perfect example of things that are really good for games. Because they keep you coming back to the game. They give you a reason to come back. They don't just keep you coming back. They give you a reason to be there. Hey, as you level up, you're going to get this. Now you got to play more and you can get this and this and this and this. And it keeps you coming back over an extended period of time. But not every game is good at doing that.
Novelty.
Yay,
surprises.
Do you all think that this style of game developing, this continuation of a game that's released, is because there are too many games? Do you think that game companies spend years developing something, and if they really want to get their full money out of it, they're going to keep giving you more and more and more, so you have to keep coming back more and more? Because in this day and age, we're just going to play it and move on, play it and move on, play it and move on.
Oh, yeah.
If they keep stringing us along.
Well, look at Assassin's Creed, my most favorite of all time, releasing one every year. For me, I'm like, yay, that's so great. With Valhalla, they released the one, and then they have people keep coming back with all these expansions and DLC stuff. That's pretty well done, I would say. I've enjoyed the ones that I've played. But then they don't have to put a game out every year. They can let people get more into the stuff that exists, onboard more people who are like, hey, I've been thinking about that, but I don't know. And now it's at a lower price, the base game.
Yeah.
Draw them in. Reel them in.
See, that's the thing too, like with video games, if you do not need to have the hotness, just wait. Just wait.
Yeah.
Like I saw a game that was on sale that was normally $119 that you could get for $30.
Ooh,
oh, no.
That's a good steal.
And it's like the deluxe everything whatever edition. And so like, yeah, it's so far after that, but like not having to have everything like all the time. We were talking to somebody the other day, and they were saying that if you're gonna play a game on stream, don't play it immediately as it comes out. Play it like 2 to 3 weeks after it drops, because everybody and their grandmother's gonna be playing that, and like people are only gonna be looking for the top streamers. So like this desire, this need to have the latest, the freshest, I think that kind of goes to it. I'm more apt, like personally. I picked up Halo Infinite again the other day because I saw that Luke was playing it. And so I was like, I'll hop in, play a little bit. And I bought the season pass because to me, like, it's like, hey, if I play this game for a month, I'll get my season's pass worth time out of it. And so it's not hard for me to justify that kind of stuff, but it's real hard if somebody's like, hey, I got this $60 game that's a single playthrough. Would you like to play that? I'm like,
Right. Jump in.
I'll probably wait for that to drop to 40. Then I'm interested.
Yeah.
Unless it's a God of the War,
God of the War,
Spider of the Man, or something that is tested. But I think that I agree with the notion that good games aren't good enough, because there's so many things now that are competing for my time and my energy and my attention. And so if you want it, you gotta go after it. I mean, I have, these are just my show games. These aren't even ones that I'm actively playing. These are just show games. And so, like, I don't have a chance to play all these. I told you guys earlier, I punched all those expansions of Root. And I was like, why'd you buy those? I don't know. Like,
because I wanted to.
Because you wanted them.
I thought I was doing a nice thing for her.
Excitement.
But like at the end of the day, it's like there's so many things.
Never
our Steam
can play 'em all.
backlogs, our Xbox backlogs, our PlayStation backlogs, Nintendo backlog, all that stuff. There's too many games out there. If I'm gonna give my time to something, it's got to give me something back. And so that's kind of what I'm looking at.
Yeah. No, that makes sense, I think. And it's interesting too, because that idea of like, what is it that will give me something back is different for everybody. Dragon Age Inquisition gives me my entire life back every time I play it. But you're not going to get that if you play it. So that idea of, at least how I'm thinking of it, that idea of motivation ties into like, how do we judge which good games are good enough? What's worth it? Basically, what's worth the time and energy and money over everything else to do that thing instead of another thing? Why am I going to play Red Dead 2 again when the PS5 upgrade comes up instead of other things? That's undecided. I told Matt it's undecided.
No, it'll happen.
I don't even know how to make that decision. Like, honestly, I don't know how to make that decision.
You decide every day.
No, I do not.
Destiny.
I absolutely do not. Because I don't know how many people like this week have been like, hey, Bubba, you played Elden Ring? I'm like, I bought it and I have it installed. I have not even booted it yet.
Well, FOMO and motivation are two different things.
Nah, that's very true.
So
I have no FOMO for
Take it
that
off
game.
my back.
Then why did you buy it?
I have, because
you thought you were going to play it?
I know that I will play it. I thought I was going to play it earlier, but then it was like, I just never found the motivation. Like it wasn't drawing me. I saw a bunch of other people like playing it, and I was like, I don't know that I want to play that. And then I found Tunic, which was different enough, but still in the same vein. So like when I'm motivated to play a game, I'll play it. I'm playing through Guardians of the Galaxy right now, and like I like it. It's really great. I'm playing through it on stream, so I'm really not getting the full experience of it because it turns on streamer mode and it doesn't have all the licensed music, which is
that's about
90% of the experience of that game. And so like, I don't know. It just like a game has to really give me something in return in order for me to want to sit down and play it.
So you don't play Destiny because you get some loot and gear?
No.
You don't care?
No.
You wouldn't care if you got nothing back?
I mean, I want to play and I want to feel like I'm getting something, but like I don't necessarily need a piece of gear. I'll go after gear. This is how I operate. I'll go after gear. I'll grind for it, and then I'll get it, and it's like,
did it.
Next, like that's just my mentality. Is, I don't know. It's all about the anticipation and the build up.
Maybe you're different then. Maybe I diagnosed you incorrectly.
It's possible.
You could be the mastery achievement one. Or maybe you're a mix of both.
Yeah.
I'll have to think on this. And my diagnosis of you will have no impact on any part of your life other than a fun fact.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
just interesting. I like to think about people in this way because it's like,
I'll take the test. How about that?
yeah, take the test and then we'll put your results on the online.
Yep, I'll do
Take
that.
the test, Matt. Take the
You also
test.
have to say,
I've
I
taken
want
it
you to take
before.
more cold medicine and then take the
No,
test.
no.
Can't.
Take it
I'm
when
not.
you're. Take it normal. Take it normal.
Later. Where?
I'll send you the link. Don't fret
Okay.
about it right
It's,
now.
it's in the chat.
You're incapacitated.
Well, hey, Kate, thanks for getting us learned.
Yeah. Well, I just was. I thought it was interesting, and I thought, why the heck
Yep.
not learn a new thing? Why not? The end.